He frequently retranslated parts of the New Testament, and it shows up in his books and teachings. He called the translations literal translations according to usage. He would introduce them by saying things like, "It more accurately reads," or "It properly reads." For example, Philippians 3:7-14. In the New Dynamic Church, he leaves it pretty much stand as the King James. But then in the Way magazine, The Knowledge of God, March, April 1983, he contradicts himself. He rewrites Philippians 3. He says it properly reads. You can see on the chart what happens. He completely leaves out the Greek phrase, "not having a righteousness of my own that comes from the law, but..." And the two words, "by faith," he leaves those out completely and replaces them with, "in and to every born-again believer." So he deletes those key central words, "not having my own from the law," and "by faith," and inserts these other words, "made available, Jesus," and "in and to every born-again believer." And then the word "dia," he completely translates not according to usage, and in contrast to the way he translated it before. In John 1:3, just mentioned a moment ago, he says the word "dia," it means by, the cause. Here he actually takes the preposition by or through and changes it into a verb, having, which is certainly not according to usage and not an accurate translation. He contradicts himself, no less. Verse 10, he also recasts in the New Dynamic Church. He leaves it pretty much intact, according to the King James, but adds several words, namely, "of his death, burial, and resurrection." Those aren't in Greek at all. But then in the Way magazine, 1983, he completely rewrites it again, differently, of course. The Greek words, "the fellowship of his sufferings," he takes out. And the Greek words, "his death," he takes out. And then the simple word, "being conformed to," he expands into being made as he was, so they might renew our minds, being conformed to being as he is, which is kind of a gobbledygook anyway. But you can see he deletes most of the verse and replaces with a bunch of others, and replaces one Greek word, conformed, with 18 others, which are kind of vague and don't make much sense anyway. But it would be tremendous to translate it that way, or so he felt. If it was according to usage, he would refer to other verses that use the same way, but he doesn't. Oh, wait. There's a third time that he retranslates Philippians 3, completely different from the other two. The third time. Oh, no. And then he adds other words he didn't add before, namely standard, perfect, and of Christ. And then he deletes the word faith. This is in that book, Literal Translations According to Usage. Oh, followers of Wierwille, what are you going to do? Which of the three contrasting and contradictory translation of his are you going to pick? Oh, and which ones are you going to declare false? Because you know, if one is true, the others have to be false, because they contradict each other. It wasn't unusual for him at all to translate individual words in opposite ways.